okay, now my live stream's making noise because it was on mute. So, if you ever have a live stream, this is what you have to do. You have to check this stuff. Which is why I'm so glad that I just checked my live stream to make sure that people can hear me, is because it was on mute and you can't hear me. Life of an entrepreneur. But I'm Brandi of blogginbrandi.com. For those of you that do not know me, I help people build their businesses and their brands, and I share all of my tips and tricks on YouTube and social media. And today I get so many questions about building your business and how to get started and whether you need money or experience. I started with nothing. I had no experience starting my own business. I had no money to really be doing anything because I had a job and I was about to quit it. I had bills up to my eyeballs. I can't even tell you where I was. But I sat down today and said, okay, I keep getting all these phone calls, especially from one of my really good girlfriends. She calls me all the time to tell me about how she has this great idea and she wants to start something. And I keep saying, why have you not started? And she keeps saying, I don't know, Brandi, but the whole reason that I haven't started is one reason is I'm scared. And I say to people, like, what are you scared of? What is keeping you from breaking through? And is it money? Is it experience? Or is it just your mindset and your thought process? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I have something super special that I'm going to announce at the end of this live stream, as well as if any of you have any questions, I'll be answering those live. And after this video, the way that YouTube works is this is going to go unlisted. I'm going to make sure everything's good on here and re-upload it so you can come back and leave your comments, and I will go through them before tomorrow and hopefully be able to answer some of your questions on here. I will try to make sure and cover those. So I know that I'm not always the best at returning your questions, but if you put it on my newest video, I usually will comment on your comments, your questions. If you subscribe to my channel, I try to follow all of you and subscribe to yours. So on that note, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel because it helps me reach new plateaus. Like, even when I'm doing this live stream, one of the things that they will allow is super chat. So if one of you wanted to say to sponsor this live stream or say something on this live stream and have like an ad come up, what you can do in the super chat is pay money. I want to say you can do like $2, $5. It can be anything, whatever we set it up as. And you could comment and have your comment read and addressed in front of everybody. So once you start to grow your channel and you get a larger audience, those things start to become a lot more important. And so YouTube sees those. For those of you that don't know, there's been a lot of changes in the algorithm. So either way, subscribe. There's like a button down below somewhere that you can subscribe, as well as I'm going to be putting this in the description of this video whenever I upload it. So without further ado, let's just talk about how I got started in my first business and what I really had starting out and where I started. So I did go to college. I do have a degree, but that really has nothing to do with what I do now. So for those of you that think that you have to go to college and you have to get this big corporate job and learn all these fancy skills, that would be wrong. Because think about it, anytime you get a job, you learn skills, you learn how things are going, and you start to develop. In a month in, 2 months in, you start to look back and say, wow, I had no idea what I was doing, and now this all makes sense. Why did I make this so complicated? So it's the same thing with starting your own business. Nobody tells you how to do it. There's not really a system in place. You kind of just have to throw yourself out there and figure it out. So I had my job And one day I watched this webinar online, and the webinar was really about, and I have my notes here. Like, I'm not kidding. I really planned this stuff out. What was I saying? I joined this webinar, and the crazy thing about this webinar is it just got me thinking, and I was like, I'm sitting here all day, and from I would say 9 to 5, but literally 7 to 5, I had so much to do, but then I would have these free time. So, like, from, I don't know, 7 to 10 or 7 to 12, I would do a whole bunch, and then the rest of the day, I would just, like, wait on people to call, because I traded stocks and stuff like that. I know it's totally boring and not anything that I do now, but I used to trade, like, billions of dollars for Wall Street, and I did this conveyor belt job and decided I wanted to do something else, because what I had figured out was that I knew how to automate the systems that we did and all of the people that worked with me. And so everybody would come to me and I would put together a system, and everybody just knew that this is how the system flowed. So I watched this webinar, and it got me thinking about how to sell stuff, because up until this point I had only sold stuff online, like money. So I've traded money for people, invested money for people, but I really had never sold a product. I was selling a service in a sense, or I was selling a product, but it was more like a service-based product. So you could purchase things like plans for me when I did individual advising and stuff. But either way, I did have some type of skills in selling, only because I was talking to people all day. I was not getting paid to sell. It really just started out as learning in my job. So I moved on to selling stuff online, Amazon, eBay. I came across just this webinar that taught me about how to make money from going to Goodwill, going to Walmart. I would go to Target and thrift stores, yard sales, you name it, flea markets. I started learning how to sell online, and it just opened a whole new world for me, because it was almost like a high. And so I went from shopping for myself for shopping for other people, and it was like an addiction in a way, that I was able to shop and go buy clothes and toys and baby items and weird stuff you never even think that people would buy. Believe me, people buy really weird things. So I started selling everything you could think of, and then it, like I said, it became a high. So I was like, okay, how can I get to the bigger thing and the bigger thing? So from going into the retail shops, I went into pallets, and I started trying to figure out, like, how can I buy more of this stuff and sell more of it, because I was selling out online. I was selling on Amazon, I was selling on eBay, I was selling on local offer apps. Here we have OfferUp and what's the other one? Let Go. So you may see a lot of commercials for that, at least here in the US. And I'm in the Southeast. ATL, holla. So I started selling crazy things online. People were buying from me right and left. I had a beautiful apartment that was stacked to the ceiling in boxes, Amazon boxes, packaging. Then I moved into a warehouse office space, and it just kind of blew up from there. Like I said, I had no idea what I was doing, and it just kind of fell into this business that I didn't really know I was making. I was just kind of trying to figure out how to make extra money on the side, but I wasn't necessarily planning on it becoming a full-blown business. So I started doing the pallets, like I said, and that was like local auctions. So I found some local ones that are here in Atlanta, and I was just searching online. I would search warehouse inventory, liquidation deals, things like that. and close out sales, close out deals, things of that nature, and see what came up. So some of the things that started to happen was I would get these huge pallets of new items, and one of them was magic kits. I remember these magic kits sold out like hotcakes. I cannot believe how fast these things sold out. So I would go back and get more, and it just got really crazy. I even started, what was the other one? I think there's a service, it's called Bulk, BULQ. And I was living in this beautiful high rise across from Sarah Blakely back in the day, before she moved across the street. Now, from where I'm at, holler Sarah, because I'm still across the street from you. That's my girl, like my real girl. So, Sarah, if you ever want to invite me over to Spanx, I totally can see you, and I would love to come over there and hang out. But that's my shout out. So, pallets, auctions online, my walls were stacked up with boxes, and I was getting these huge trucks to come and deliver these pallets to my condo, and it was kind of a little sketchy, also because I'm here in Atlanta, and I'm just gonna say, like, it's not the safest place. And so I would be downstairs getting stuff delivered, and people would see these fancy items come by, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, somebody's gonna steal this before I get it up to my condo. I'm sitting here unloading these huge pallets of stuff. Like, I wish I had video and pictures of all of this. I have some old pictures of my house that I took, but I wish you could have seen, like, the truck show up. There's so much that I wish I could share with you because it was crazy. And even till this day, like my warehouse, all of that. So document your journey, and you're going to have so much more. Even if you don't share it now, document where you're headed and where you're going. So, sorry, I have this itch. I got these pallets delivered. Like I said, I was selling stuff so I'd flip these items. I flipped, and I bought new items. I did get into returned items, but that was just a bad business move. So if anyone ever asks if you want to sell return items or buy return pallets, absolutely not. Do not do that. It is a waste of your time and money. So, sold on Amazon, sold on eBay when I first got started, just flipping items that I found at local stores. And I came across this Amazon seller app. There's also some other ones. I think they're called maybe Profit Bandit and some other stuff. I made some videos about this called like Goodwill series a while back, probably a year ago, and shared my journey on this and what I would do because a lot of you were asking questions. So, yes, even till this day, sometimes if I get really excited and I see something that can sell a lot, I will scan it with my Amazon seller app and see what the cost will be. So, what happened was I started getting so busy that I went from buying just individual items to buying mass quantity of items to then I started getting, I don't want to say complaints, but people would say something about the product that I sold, like something broke and they wanted me to fix it or replace it. And I was thinking, well, I only have one of these, or if I had another one, I would send it to them, which thankfully didn't happen very often. But I started to learn that I didn't want to be selling someone else's product because I had no control over the manufacturing. I had no control over the what they were putting out, the content they were putting out about the product. And it led to me private labeling. So I started out private labeling, or I would say importing and exporting private labeling products from like China. And then it moved on to me not importing and exporting, but private labeling products here in the US. So at first I started out on some tools that many of you may have heard of. One is Alibaba, and it's like the Amazon of the world for trading wholesale goods and items. And then they have another option, which is called AliExpress. And so with Alibaba, normally they expect you to buy like 100, 200, 300, 500, 100,000 of something to sell. But with AliExpress, you can buy a smaller quantity. Maybe you want 2 or 5 or 10 of a quantity to sell. And you can start now with AliExpress, you can't do the private labeling, but with Alibaba, you can, because you're talking one-on-one with the manufacturers and working out deals with them. And that's a whole nother ballgame of what to get into and how to get started on that. If you're interested in stuff like that, let me know. Like I said, I'm going to be uploading this video again after the live stream, and you can put your comments in it. And if you're hanging out here, don't forget to say hello and comment on this. But if you're watching this later on, make sure and comment in the description area or comment section and tell me if that's the kind of stuff that you're interested in. So, like I said, things started to multiply, and even when I was private labeling, I did kind of run into something. I've never really talked about this, so you're the first to hear this. I private labeled a product, and it was, I don't want to say the epitome of my business, but it taught me a huge learning lesson, and I lost a lot of money, and I spent a lot of time, and if I could go back, there's so many things I would do different, because I probably could have saved so much. Well, I know I could have saved so much money and so much time. But it's all a learning experience. So, I private labeled an e-liquid. So for some of you that don't know, that's a product that you put in those e-cigarettes. And I had a company, it was called Smoke Serendipity. Still to this day, my company is called Smoke Serendipity, and I'm working on changing that because I also have my company, Bloggin, Brandi, and so I really need to combine those. But moral lesson of the story, do not name your business anything that you're naming, like your product. And the other thing was that the product that I was selling, it wasn't that it was a failure, it was just the whole thing that surrounded it that was a failure. So the biggest thing that I had no idea and I didn't really think about was the fact that they outlawed people advertising cigarettes at, I mean, how many times do you ever see a Marlboro commercial or anything out there promoting any type of smoke cessation product? You don't see that anymore because they outlawed it. So I learned that the hard way. I was trying to buy advertisements and I couldn't sell the product. And honestly, I did this the exact way that a lot of you do your businesses, and a lot of the ways that you keep telling me that you're starting your businesses. You're talking about, oh, I'm buying a mass quantity of t-shirts. Oh, I bought 500 books of this already in a sample copy. Okay, let's back up. Don't ever buy products in mass quantity until you have started selling them. And the way it works means you sell 10, then you buy 20. Yes, then you buy 100, then you buy 1,000, and you sell out each of those quantities, and then you do more. If you're not selling the product, that could tell you something. And if you're running out, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's letting you know that you need more quantity. And that's a good thing that you're running out and, okay, cool, now I need to get 20, now I need to get 100. And in the beginning, you're not necessarily going to make money. You may be losing money, which is totally fine because that's how a business starts. You will lose money in the beginning. You're not always going to be winning, should I say. So, what else? So I tried to buy these Google ads, and I started to figure out there was all these regulations around smoking and sensation products, even though some of the things that I was selling were more vitamin based or all natural healthy based. So that started to get me thinking about, well, do I really want to be selling this? And then I started to look at my competition and all of these legalities and legal actions that were taken against them. So it just really put me in a mindset of, okay, again, I don't make the liquid for this product. I just am private labeling it from honestly China. So it was just a janky situation. Needless to say, I do not sell that anymore, and I have a huge stock of this inventory still to this day. I believe it's sitting at my mother's house. But that was a business lesson learned. So I bought a lot of it, and then my morals kicked in, and I was just thinking, like, do I really want to be selling this? Am I hurting someone? Would someone want to brand themselves with my company or say I'm associated with her? She sells this big cigarette product. And another thing is, like, I don't smoke that stuff, so it's not really a conversation piece for me. If I'm out around people that are smoking it, I'm running the opposite direction, and it's just not something that I would be selling along with my morals. So during that process, though, I had set up my own website like 3 times and learned how to promote on social media because social media wasn't as restricted as the Google ads. And the other thing was I knew the power of Google ads. So I just kept saying, well, if I could just get a product and I can just put it on Google ads, then I know I can make money. But that wasn't the case because the product itself was just a bad product in general. It wasn't something I could put on Amazon. It wasn't really something that eBay wanted you to promote. So I was really limited on my channels and how to drive traffic to the brand in the way that I wanted, in the way that I knew how to drive traffic. So, what changed for me? We went out of town, and I think we actually went to the casino, and my email was blowing up. We couldn't even enjoy ourselves on this trip because of how much was going on and whatnot. So we went on this trip. Long story short, I was freaking out. Every time we went to the casino, I kept thinking, oh God, we need to get back home. We need to get back home. And it was just not a fun time. And at that point, I said, you know what? I am putting the brakes on this. I was reading some books at the time, and I believe it was The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and it just taught me, okay, there is not any kind of automation process to this. It's not set up the proper way. Then I'm trying to hire people. Now I'm trying to figure out how to manage my time, and when you hire people, it takes a lot of your time and a lot of your money. So I really wanted to just breathe and that wasn't what I was used to. When I had my corporate job, I had automated the process where people just showed up and knew what to do, and nobody ever asked all these questions. I wasn't constantly re-explaining myself. So I really just took a moment, and from the hiring and the training and the sending and the mailing and just trying to figure this whole thing out. And I had so many streams of income happening from all these different directions. I couldn't keep up with what I was spending because I was just trying to make it happen instead of worrying about how much I was spending. I was just like, okay, we've got to mail it. It doesn't matter how much I'm spending. We've got to get this out. We'll figure it out later. Later turned to later, and then never. So, why do I say all of this? I'm sure you want to know. Well, this really took a turn for me when I said, okay, I have got to come up with a process. And here is the process. I've talked about this in a lot of my outsourcing videos, but there is a very simple strategy to this. The first step that really helps me get clarity anytime things are going crazy or I'm figuring out I need to start something or do something new is really to get organized. I start out organizing everything. My files, my house, my car, my contacts, my email, whatever it is, I get completely organized. I'll even organize my YouTube channel, my Twitter list, whatever it is. If I think something's going crazy, I will organize it. Even my apps on my phone. Believe it or not, when you're organized, you save so much more time. So after you get organized, which is the first step, the second step is to eliminate. So you can't really eliminate things until you've put them in the proper place to know if you need them. after you've gotten organized, you can go through and figure out, okay, I need this, I don't need this. Maybe this is something that I can do later on, and prioritize. So getting organized and eliminating has to also do with prioritizing. So you're getting the things that are important put up front and eliminating the things that maybe aren't so important, or at least just pushing them off to a later date and time. After that, hey, thank you for joining, and thank you for all of your support on my channel. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm getting ready to announce a special announcement, and you're not going to want to miss it. So, and please put your comments in the chat, everybody. So, getting organized, eliminating, and then the third thing is to start automating. And I know everybody is so scared of automating. I don't know why you're scared of automating, because if you think about it, everybody has this Alexa button now from Amazon, and you're saying, okay, I just want her to automate everything. I heard today on a commercial they were automating buying coffee. It said, hey, Alexa, put in my normal Starbucks order to her car. And I was thinking, okay, this is so weird. People don't realize that this stuff is already kind of automated, but now they've got this robotic thing talking for them. So, yes, these things can work in your favor. You just have to figure out what works for you. And again, when it comes to automating, the systems that work for me may not work for you, and someone else's systems may not work for you. But I take bits and pieces from everyone's ideas and kind of like create my own. So, look at your competitors, look at what other people are doing that are in your space. And when I'm talking about automating, I'm not just talking about automating your business. I'm talking about automating your life. When it comes to cleaning your house, can you think about the amount of time you would spend cleaning your house versus the amount of dollars you could pay someone to clean your house? And that's how I start this process of outsourcing and eliminating and putting things into motion for how I have honestly like built my business. Is I've put everyone into a stream, and they came from different places, but in the end they all end up in the same place. So organize, eliminate, automate, and like I said, automate your life, automate your business. They all go hand in hand. If your time, you really need to know, I always ask people, how much is your time worth? And if you don't know that answer, you honestly need to sit down today and stop and think, because I know how much my time is worth. I know how long it's going to take me to sit down and help someone set up their YouTube channel, go through all their social media, set up their social media accounts, help them create their post, help them look up their hashtags, help them brand their business, go through their colors, their fonts, look through their channels, look through everything that they're doing, listen to them, and give them feedback. It takes a lot of work. And honestly, these things that I do for people, where I find that most people fail is they want to do one piece and not the other piece to their business, or something that they think is maybe not important. So, the only way to know that something is important or not is to be going back and analyzing these things. So the last and fourth final step to my process of how I really broke free and started making like serious money in my business, had clients calling me like crazy. And I mean, now, even while I have this live stream, I'm totally not trying to look away, but my email is blowing up and it just keeps saying sold, sold, sold. I'm not kidding, because I just started a new product on Amazon, and I just could not help but come on here to talk to you because I'm so excited about how fast this thing is selling. It is crazy how fast this stuff is selling. So even till this day, I still sell on Amazon, but I sell my own private labeled product on Amazon. So some of you have heard me talk about it, but that's not what we're talking about today. So outsourcing. And nobody wants to do this. It is a lot of time, but it has to be done if you want to grow. You cannot be in the same place all the time. And what I have learned is, if you plan on answering all of your social media, putting all your posts together, creating all of your emails, putting all your videos together for YouTube, creating the posts, looking up the hashtags, all the things that I said that people ask me to do for them. It is a lot of work. How do you think I get it done? I have 1 systems and 2 people in place. So whenever you're trying to figure stuff out, it may be video processing. Maybe that's not your strong point, or maybe you know that your time is better spent somewhere else. So when it comes to outsourcing, I look at what can free up my time. And also, when you're thinking about outsourcing and automation, keep in mind that there are systems out there, even the transcription on my video. So after I get this video done, YouTube does make a transcription, but I need the transcription to put on my blog. And I also like to have the transcription to pull and use for other things. I like to read it, make sure it's right. And if I'm going to go through and do all that, I might as well do it right. And plus, YouTube kind of determines what you're saying, and I'm already going to have to go through and do the work. So I outsource the transcription of my video. And first I was doing a human automation. So if it's a long transcription, I'll use a human and outsource it, but I pay $1 a minute. So that's pretty cool. And cheap, unless you have like a really long stream. So this one is much longer. I'll probably use another service that's more of an automation or artificial intelligence service because it's so much cheaper. And they have apps for your phone, so I could have been recording this on my phone and already have the transcript to go with it. There's so many options, but the only way that I learned this was because I started to suffer and really want that time back with my family, for my dog, to travel and to do all the things that I love to do. So I do not spend all my time on social media and YouTube and Facebook, but I will tell you the time that I do spend, I spend it very valuable. And I'm able to do that because I take the time to automate my process and outsource my weaknesses and really gain clarity. So I want to teach you the same process that I started. And I told you, I literally started with nothing. I had this job, and it was not really what I wanted at the time, just because I was going to the same thing every day. And then I started selling a product, and then that led to the next product and the next product, and I learned how to sell, and then I learned how to do email marketing, and then I learned how to do social media. And it's these relationships that I've built with people online, and the people that I've met, and the customers that I have created. And I'm going to be really serious with you right now. Like, this is how serious I am. I have an email database of over 500,000 emails. Like, I'm not kidding when I tell you that I am a hustler. 500,000 people, over that now, have shown interest in my products and services. And it's all because of social media, email marketing, and some other little tactics that I've learned. But it comes from trial and error. And that's what's allowed me the freedom to travel, the freedom to do these live streams with you and talk to you and teach you. And so I have gotten so many questions about how I do this. How do I automate my email? How do I automate my social media? And ultimately, how do I automate my sales funnel? So tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, I'm so excited. Like, I have been waiting to tell y'all this. I was going to just do the webinar today, but there's so much that I really wanted to share with you. It's going to be tomorrow because there's a lot of people that really wanted to join, and I kind of asked around about who could go when. So the best time is tomorrow at 7 p.m. And the goodies to all this are going to be in the description after this video. So after this live stream ends, there's going to be something in the description, and I think I can even put this in the chat now for those of you that are watching. Make sure that you grab your seat to this webinar that I'm doing tomorrow, and I'm going to show you how to automate your everything online. And if you even have one subscriber, like one email subscriber, one person interested, one person watching your YouTube video, I am telling you, it is money. It is money. If you have their attention, it is money. So I put the link in the chat. So this is going to replay, and then I am going to upload this video here shortly in just a second to my channel so you can rewatch it. And I want you to put your comments. If you have questions about the webinar, please put them. I will be answering them after this video and responding to them. And then I'll also be mentioning this on my social media tomorrow and probably later tonight here after I get this up so everybody can come back and watch it. But please do not miss this webinar, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any more great tips, especially like this. And if you push the notification button, hint, hint, I might be doing some more of these live streams here soon. So if you want to be able to ask me questions in real time and kind of get feedback maybe about your business or your channel, I want to hear what questions you have. And this webinar is going to be a great time for you to ask, because it's going to be one-on-one communication with me. And it will probably last, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. We'll probably stick around for at least an hour to answer any questions that everybody has, but the actual webinar itself shouldn't really take that long. But it's because I'm sharing with you my systems, how I automate my business, the things that I use. What do I use to follow everybody back on Twitter every day? Because, you know, it's a lot of work I can show you, I get 1,500, I think for every 1,000, I can get like 1,500, actually 3,000. I can probably do like 3,000 Twitter subscribers in a month, or followers in a month. And it's not anything special that I'm doing. I'm doing what you should be doing already. And it's not the amount of followers. Like I said, you can have one follower, one subscriber. It's not about the numbers, even though everybody else thinks it is. It's not about the numbers. So I'm going to show you how to put your business on autopilot, and the tools, the systems that I'm using to do my email and my social media and my sales funnel, and the things that I use to automate my business. So you don't want to miss this, and it is going down tomorrow at 7 p.m. You can grab your seat and learn about all the special bonuses that are going down in the link that I'm putting in the description after this video, and as well as in the chat. So if you have any questions, please let me know now. You can also put them in the comments after this video. But like I said, please subscribe for good vibes. Thank you for joining. I'm Brandi of blogginbrandi.com, where you can find tons of free businesses, I can't even say it because I'm here live and I do this on like every one of my videos. I'm Brandi of blogginbrandi.com, where you can find tons of tools and resources to help you brand your business and just turn it on to an autopilot money making machine. So please join me tomorrow for this webinar. You're not going to want to miss it. And I am so excited to share with you what I've been working on for all of the questions that you've been asking. I am listening, and I've put it together in a simple format so that you can all follow and learn from me. And I don't know when I'm going to be doing another one of these again. This was just something that was asked of me. So I'm going to be putting this up. But after the webinar, I don't know when I'm doing another one of these, because I can't leave this information up there. It's not really in my best interest if the whole world can see my method for how I get all my subscribers and followers, especially if you're my competition, right? So come and learn from the boss what's up here tomorrow in my webinar, and I will see you then. So thank you so much for everyone that has joined today and on my social media. I know we had some great conversations, so I hope that I have answered those and shared my story and given you some light at the end of the tunnel, that I literally started from nothing. Even though I had a job, I was quitting my job. I had nothing coming in. I turned it into something more profitable with my phone. I took my phone For those of you that don't know, I love sparkling water. So Topo Chico, holla. I took my phone and I would scan the barcodes on stuff and learn what they were selling for, how much it was costing me to mail them, and it turned into so much more. I had no idea what I was doing, where I was going, how I was going to make money with this thing, and it turned into this huge business that now I am traveling and meeting people that I never thought I could meet, influencers, brands. It is crazy. I mean, I've been to Walmart's headquarters hanging out with people that I never thought that I would, and you can do it too. So, it all comes from getting organized, eliminating, automating, and outsourcing, and I'm going to show you how to do it tomorrow on the webinar. So I will see you tomorrow, and don't forget to subscribe. I know I keep saying that. It is super late here, and it was a crazy day. We had the washing machine here guy, and crazy life, but business goes on, and we're here, we're showing up. And I said, you know what? If I'm not going to publish my video today, we're going to do it live. Plus, I had so much to tell you. So, I will see you tomorrow to answer all your questions, and I hope you will join me. It's 11 p.m. in the UK. Well, good. Tomorrow it won't be that late. There's going to be a little bit of a replay because if you join, it's actually going to be hosted in my Facebook group. So I'm putting the link to that down below as well, but you want to make sure you get the class times. And if you subscribe to the webinar, I'll shoot you a quick reminder right before it starts. So that's the benefit. If you join the Facebook group, make sure you turn on notifications so that you know when I go live. But you'll be able to rewatch it for a little while. But there is secret access. I'll drink lots of coffee in the afternoon. That's a good idea. Drink lots of coffee and show up and hang out with me. Don't forget to go join my Facebook group. And let me put that in here for anybody that's going to be rewatching to make sure that you see that. Because this is where the webinar is going to be is in my Facebook group. So, that's it. I will see you tomorrow, and thank you again for joining me. It's late. I probably should have had some coffee before this, but hey, it is what it is. So I will talk to you tomorrow. Good night from the USA.